Hi everyone! Welcome back to Window Chats with Robyn, the Instagram live podcast where I sit by my window and chat with very interesting people. Today's guest is Dianne Aguilar. Oh my gosh, Dianne, I practiced that all morning. I think I got the accent right. I'm going to invite her in. I'm very excited to chat with her. And, oh, hello there. Let's invite Dianne in. Dun, dun, dun. Come. This never gets old. The nerve-wracking, will it work, won't it work? If you watched episode 1 of season 8, you may have noticed there was a tech lag. So that was also fun for me. Oh, hi from Prague. Hello. That's so fun. Look at this reach I'm having today. That's exciting. Okay, let's see if it'll work or if I have to restart it. Time will tell. Dianne, can I invite you in? Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can. Why won't it let me invite you in, Dianne? It's causing. This is just like, this is what happens when you do a live and Instagram just wants to be a troublemaker. Okay. I'm keeping a cool exterior, but I'm very frustrated. Oh my gosh, it worked. It worked. Oh my gosh.
Yay.
Oh,
Should I?
oh, that's so weird. My headphones aren't even working. All right. It's that kind of day. Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. If you hear construction, let me know because I live in Toronto.
We live downtown. It's fine. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all good. Oh, you look adorable. Your little headband.
Thank you.
You're so cute.
I was having trouble taming my hair today, so I was like, you know what? F this.
I was too. I know, and then I'm like, I did it all nice, and it wasn't happening. So I'm like, it's tied back. That's life.
To be honest, it's not freshly washed. So I was like, what are we working with today? So I just threw this headband on, and it works.
I like it. It's a vibe.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, it goes. It goes with your personality. I wouldn't have known. I'm like, ooh, like exotic. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Did I say your name well? I was stressed. Okay. My voice message this morning. Okay.
We don't have to stress about it. I stress about my name all the time. I'm like, should I stay with the roots? Should I be Aguilar? Or should I be Aguilar? And just be like, I'm Dianne Aguilar. So we have to figure that out later. Not now.
But I think it's interesting though, like, because I wanted to use an accent, but if that's not my true accent, are you offended? You know, if I'm
No.
like, okay.
No.
Okay. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. People get offended these days. I don't know.
I wouldn't be offended because I know you. Or if someone's like Aguilar and they're all like trying to put the whole like you're spicy Mexican kind of thing on me, then I'm just like, okay, we get it. Stereotypes, you know. But otherwise, I'm just like, nah, you can say it.
Yeah. Okay, good. Now that we got that out of the way and I feel at peace, we can continue. Okay.
You're rejuvenated, my child.
Thank you. Namaste. Okay. No, here's what I love about you though. This is what's like, you are just so genuine. It confuses me. You're just so, this is who I am. And I'm going to like be creative while bike riding and living my truth. I don't know. You're just like the coolest person. I find you fascinating in a good way.
Accept compliments because we don't ever accept compliments. We're always like, oh, that's not true about me. So I'm going to accept the compliment and say thank you. I don't know. I always try to do my best to live authentically. And it's hard because there's always so many things that pull you in directions and make you question if your truth is your truth. And yeah, I think being crazy sometimes on Instagram and posting my crazy bike rides or like just running around, sometimes I'm like, this is a little wild. But also that's my truth and I'm just a little bit offbeat sometimes and that's just how I am. So yeah.
But you know what? It's your openness to share it too, because I don't use Instagram the way the young folks do, as they say. I do like, here's some self-promotion, not like, here is my life. Because I feel so private, maybe. I don't know. Or also like, oh, will people judge me if I'm scooting? I don't know. Okay, I like to scoot. That's my lifestyle.
What do you mean
like I have an electric scooter, so I'm just scooting downtown Yeah,
That's
until it dies, and then
cool.
I'm stuck somewhere, and I go, I should have brought a charger. So
I had one last year. It was the best time of my life. I bought it on Kijiji for $700. I'll show you a picture later. It broke down obviously because it was $700, but everybody was like, "Is that Dianne? Look at you go!" I'll send you a picture later. But scooters. Right, back to the task. Okay, ADHD. I don't know. Just I think it comes with like whatever you're because a lot of my friends ask me the same thing or like, "How do you use social media so much? Like you kind of just post everything." I think it's because I find that it's a great community. Obviously, honestly, I'm battling a lot right now with like the addiction of social media.
oh
And
yeah.
that's super toxic as well. So navigating using social media as a community and recently I was telling my friend last night actually that part of me feels like I want to pull away sometimes and just go be my nature child and go hide in the woods and not talk to anyone. And I don't care because if you disconnect from social media, you're okay. But the world makes you feel like you need to stick to it to matter.
Yeah.
And that's not true. But there is a part of me that feels like I do reach out to some people, and people have reached out to me and said, this post really helped me, or watching your video reminds me to do such and such. And small things like that, which I think sometimes I don't matter. I mean, we all matter, but there's moments where you're like, really? Like my silly little videos that I put up of me enjoying my best life don't really matter. Like they're kind of like silly, but then people are like, thank you for reminding me about this. And that kind of makes me want to stay on because I feel like part of my purpose, which I've been looking for, is to help people be their most like joyful, happy, authentic self. So yeah. Yeah.
I love that. And it's true. You know what I find? You never know what's going to resonate with someone. That's the reason I keep creating randomness sometimes. I go, maybe someone will find this funny. I've worked on it too hard and I'm biased at this point. It's lost the comedy, but I'm going to share it and maybe it'll make someone smile. But I love that when you share and you reach out and you affect someone. And that's what being an artist is, right? Just sharing your truth in a sense and seeing how it lands. And oh, I
Yeah.
love that. I
Yeah.
know we did that. What was that random journey I went on with you? The abundance, 21 days of
21
abundance.
Days
That was
by Deep.
the artsiest thing I've ever done. And it was like for me, I go, what the questions were so cool. And I was like, ooh, grounded. And these are questions I should probably always ask myself. But, I never took the time to do it. And I thought, this girl is cool. This girl like there's other parts to life than just, and that's why it's so interesting to me that like, yes, you're on social media, but you have this background in just like mindfulness and everything and being so present with what you do. And you see it in your work. I watched your stuff. I go, oh, look at this girl. Okay.
I mean, it's always a journey, but yes, I do sort of find some pride in always searching for answers on the existence on this planet, really. And I obviously can't take credit for like the cool mindfulness stuff. But I can because, there's a saying that says like the opportunities are there for those who keep continuously knocking. If you keep knocking on doors, you're going to find one that opens. And I feel like that's what I've been doing in my journey of like trying to figure out more about myself and in turn about the world. It's just, I just keep knocking at things and I keep finding things. And I'm like, oh, that resonates with me a lot. And then it just becomes part of who I am. And eventually it just comes out of you randomly. And then somebody else finds it and they were knocking at my profile or something, and they found it. And then it's just a cycle. So I just keep knocking at doors and whatever I find, that's what I take.
But that's so motivating though, right? Because some person would knock at one door, nothing happens, and they're done, right? You're like, okay, this door didn't work out. Let's try another one. Ooh, big red door. Let's see what happens there. Something, you just don't give up. And it's such a great attitude to have.
Thank you. Yeah, I will. I'm going to try to maintain it because I just think it's what's been working for me. So I'm going to keep the path.
Yeah. I feel like you have to. Otherwise, you sit back and you go, you kind of reflect and you go, oh my goodness, so many doors were not right for me this year.
Oh my gosh, so many. I knock at all the doors and sometimes I was wrong.
Yeah. So I guess I should have rung the bell, or maybe just gone across the street and ignored this door. Okay, cool.
They had one of those like webcam doorbells, and you're like, hey, and they're like, oh no, not this one. No.
Goodbye. I'll see myself out. Okay. Sick the dogs. Okay. Oh God.
I love dogs.
No, but you know those guard dogs, like in those scary movies where they had the dogs that just attack people and they were at the ready. Yeah, true, exactly. Like they feed on children, those dogs. Yeah, that's what I was referring to. I don't think you like those dogs, but if you do, that's good for you.
I will find dogs, no matter what. It's okay.
You would find a connection with them. Then they're doing like 21 days of abundance with you in a corner, like doing dog yoga. I don't know.
They probably just need healing, you know?
It's exactly what you would say to them. And then they would become and then they would teach other dogs with the wisdom that you instilled in them.
And then we would lose all guard dogs and things would get robbed.
And this is why. And this is why you can't work with guard dogs. This is, Guard
dogs, not certified. Service dogs? I'm here.
For what? Oh, sorry, I cut you.
Service dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This conversation, this is a normal thing for me.
I try, like, that's why when you're like, what is this chat? I'm like, I don't know. We just talk and see what comes up.
Okay.
That is
Like, is it therapy? Do we go there? No.
I mean, look, I'll go anywhere. Be mine. It is live. People are watching live.
Oh, right.
And it's easy to forget. Yeah. Derek. Okay. We're doing his 2 babes. He's watching in Calgary. Whoa.
Derek is working. Derek has been manifesting. I'm sure.
Like this.
Yeah. Now he's out there and he's doing the work. Oh, doing the work. Gosh. Do you do any work, Robyn? What do you do to stay happy, joyful?
Oh, that's such a good question. I don't know. I go to dark places and then I emerge happier. So I don't have a process. I feel like that's why people like you inspire me in a sense, because I'm like, okay, someone's still keeping positive through this journey, the artist journey of I'm booking a time, now I'm doing nothing. You know, when I'm doing nothing, you know, when you're on set and you know it's the last day and you go, oh, I don't know my next project. That's the worst. That's the worst day for me.
That's always scary, but I make sure that now when there's the uncertainty, what's growing while you're uncertain, you know? What are you nurturing in between? And I always tell people to nurture, you know, the joy, because people, they're in our industry, there's so much validation put on booking, you know? And I was talking to my friends the other day, I was like, as artists, we're artists. We're not Hollywood stars.
Yeah.
We're artists. That's our job. And, you know, a dentist doesn't go around walking around being like, I'm a dentist today. I cleaned 3 cavities. Like, that's all they talk about. They're like, oh man, those tools today, I just cleaned them good. And you're like, no. I sometimes feel like as actors, we forget that we're first human and we have to bring human experiences into our art. Yeah. Human artist, then it kind of molds into actor, whatever. Mm-hmm. But if we're putting this, like, you know, I heard something else, like, if you're showing up with greed and not a seed, like, what are you planting? You know?
Are you writing a book?
No.
Seriously. You've dropped like 7 gems already. Okay.
These are the things that I'm like, my mantras that I'm just holding on to that kind of keep me sane. And how, when we go into these dark places, I'm all about cheesy quotes because, you know what, they work.
I don't think they're cheesy. I think, I mean, like, I love them, you know, because I need something to, like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's interesting what you said, because I think this last bout, when I was on set the last day and I thought, okay, I know I need to find something to occupy my time because I know there's going to be a lull. And I'm like, and then I surprised myself and I'm like, okay, I'll do this and this. I'm like, ooh, okay. All right. Wasn't as dark in between. Cool.
Yes. And it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
And I totally, literally just found that out. If I'm being completely transparent, it has been like a wild ride of, you know, like growing up, like this is my 2nd year living alone out of my parents' house, you know, lots of growing up in discovering things. And one of the things was that I realized you can be addicted to emotions.
Oh.
You know, and they say that it's like any addiction. When you're addicted to something, you need more of something in order for it to fill you up and give you the same rush.
Mm-hmm.
Notice that although I'm this like bright and bubbly person, there are moments of darkness, and those moments are very intense. And I was just tired of having them. And, you know, they're necessary for you to grow. You have to have them because those moments of darkness are, you know, for you to discover like what you want, what you really need, or whatever. We don't have that. We don't have time to think and kind of guide you. But sometimes they were a little too long and a little too wallowy. And I just got back from Mexico and I did this whole like Tulum spiritual trip, whatever. But I didn't have any safe spaces to kind of like figure out all of the things that I had unearthed and like journaled on the beach about and whatever, and just felt. And I came back and I was babysitting my parents' house and I had food poisoning. And one of my coping mechanisms is eating, you know, like I'll find snacks and we get that dopamine hit of the sugar, whatever, or Netflix. And Netflix stopped working that day. The TV just froze. I couldn't go for that dopamine hit with food. And I just sat with myself and just cried and realized how angry I was and upset I was at being upset and tired of being upset. And then I was just, you know, knocking on doors, YouTube later. And there was one that said, you know, emotions are like addictions. And like, what emotion are you addicted to that might not be serving you anymore? And I was like, wow, I think I might be a little addicted to like sadness, a type. It's such a comfortable, we know sadness. It's so predictable. Mm-hmm. We know discomfort of just like everything's not going to work out. It's easy. It's predictable. Nothing happens. It's safe. You know, it's safe. But joy and going for your dreams and not knowing where those dreams are going is great, but it's unsafe because it's unpredictable. So I was like, I'm addicted to this comfort, but this comfort of staying and not going for the, you know, there's fear of success or fear of growth or fear of failure, because when you go on to the next thing, new level, new devil, you're going to be challenged. And now I'm just kind of like working on being addicted to, you shouldn't be addicted to anything, but moderation, but just finding the joy and being like, okay, this might be bad, but it's going to be uncomfortable. And how do we find a positive way to look at that, you know, instead of just being like, life is hard. I'm probably going to suck at everything. This feels good though. Everything sucks, and I know what sucking feels like.
Mm-hmm. It's very easy to wallow in self-pity, for sure. And it's especially like, it's as actors, you put yourself out there all the time, and there is that huge fear of failure. And it's so hard to redefine what failure means. Mm-hmm. Because I know recently, even like this last week, where I just like did this random audition, and for me the success was the callback. You know, instead of like, okay, I'm going to worry about booking, I'm like, oh my God, I got a call back. What, like that was crazy. And this isn't like a brag. This is just like trying to redefine. I'm like, okay, now at the callback phase, whatever production wants, amazing. That's great. Like, I know I was good enough that I'm like, you want to present me to the production, you know? Mm. And then it comes down to them and their choice and whatever direction they're going once they see, you know, the fewer people than the open casting call that was the initial audition. So it's hard though to get to that point, because I know that desperation I used to feel of like going into the room and like, please like me, versus, okay, this is who I am, and if it's not right, then there's another project.
Yes.
But it takes a long time to get to that.
It's work, and it's hard, you know. Yeah. The easy people who are winning are doing the hard work. You know, I said that the other day. It's like your friends who are booking are working. They're doing things that you don't know that they're doing. You know, like what you just said about congratulating yourself for being seen by those higher up executives. Someone can look at that and go, okay, yeah, whatever, they didn't take me, this freaking sucks, let's go on to the next one. Or take it and take that energy and like use it to push you in a better direction. Yeah. But it's so tiring because it's not a muscle that we have built. Our muscles were, there's a tiger, I'm scared. fear. That's it. We're good. Just survive and we're good. But now we're good to thrive. And it's hard to rewire our little monkey brains that are built just to survive. And that's it.
Very true.
Yeah. So we're doing great. We're awesome.
You know what? Like, even the fact that we can have this conversation though, right? Because I know when I started out too, I felt so lonely and I thought I was the only one that was feeling like I was failing and like a fraud and those horrible, I just felt such an imposter syndrome of what right do I have to audition for these things? There's so many people that are better than me. Why am I special? What do I bring to the table? And again, that wallowing in self-pity of poor me. And it's like, okay, well, if you're going to feel that way, why bother doing it at all, right? There's no point. This is hard.
Fun.
Yeah. Exactly, right? Like, where is the fun? Why are you doing it, right?
Yeah.
Even if you do, yeah.
Why are you doing it, you know? I always ask that question. When we started, I think most of us were, 15 or, you know, like, I mean, I knew that I got the bug when I was, like, in middle school. And it wasn't, in middle school, it wasn't, am I enough? I'm going to get that Oscar. I want to work with these people. I didn't know any of that. I didn't even know it was a job. I just knew I love dressing up. I love playing. And that's it. And it was none of that, you know? And now then we get up and we go, am I good enough? Do they like me? Am I going to be, and I was like, what? This isn't what it's about. We came because, well, we have ADHD and we love being constantly stimulated. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, that's a part of that. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, we came because we want to play. And if we're not playing anymore, why are we doing it?
Yeah.
You know?
It's so true though. I always think of, I started at 7 and I think of the confident child in me that would go into a room and be, I got this, you know, no, and then if they didn't pick me, I go, well, they're stupid, you know, like this confident child that it's crazy. And then I look back and I go, where's confident Robyn that just walks in and it's like, you're welcome, you know? What happened to her?
You didn't like,
I mean,
too bad. I had fun.
But you know what though? I don't think I knew how to be a child. I've reflected on that. I was like, I never had fun. I took it very seriously. And so when kids would go in and have fun, I'm like, this is serious. This is like, I just didn't. So clearly that's why I was very unsuccessful as a child. That they want kids having fun. That's what they book. Not serious. I'm a 30-year-old in a 7-year-old's body. That didn't play. That's good to know.
Wow. Wait, what? I'm curious about that. Where do you think that came from for you as a child? Is that like,
It's like oldest of my siblings and always like I felt growing up like the harder if I worked the hardest, yeah, I would go farther, right? But when you see in acting, it's I don't think I fully understood how to be myself. And like even like growing up, like even as an awkward phase, like as a teen or something, and you're like, I don't know what you want. Like I'll try and be who I think you want me to be versus, hey, this is me. I'm Robyn. What's up? What's up was really big in the 90s. So yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's so interesting. So you didn't, I feel like, does anyone know who we are when we're growing up though? I don't think anyone does.
I also, like, honestly, I was also really awkwardly tall and I didn't know that till I saw this kids TV show I was on and I'm like, oh my God, I look like the parent. Like I didn't look like a child. So I almost feel like I developed the personality that my look fit. I feel like growing up when you're a child actor, it's different, you know, you have to try and figure out who casting wanted you to be. That's how I felt personally, versus now I see these kids that I work with because, you know, I always play the mom or the wife and I'm like, oh my God, they're just having fun and being themselves. I never understood that. And I love and I admire that so much, that kids are just being who they are and that's all it is. And I think that's why when I can kind of get in touch with my inner child in a role, I go, ooh, this is why I love doing this. This is fun.
Yeah. When you said, where did that Robyn go? I immediately want to be like, she's still there.
I know, right? And it's hard to remember. Well, I mean, like the child that I never felt like I could be is now coming out. Oh, that's such a weird way to phrase that. I absorbed a child and I'm giving birth to it, but not actually. It's myself. It's very meta. For anyone still watching this, they're like, who is she? Okay.
The topics we're talking about can be quite esoteric. You're like, inner child, what is that? You know? But inner child work is incredibly important. You know, a wounded child, that's no fun to work with. You know, I've done a lot of inner child healing and I still have a lot of inner child healing. And a lot of the things that usually upset us as actors or adults, human first, is just because our inner child isn't heard. So it's true though, you know, like yesterday I was so grumpy and I had no idea why. But it's weird when you get this awareness because you're aware of your grumpiness, you know? And my friend was over and I wasn't mean, but I was like, hi, I'm feeling grumpy. And that's a choice you make, right? But I wasn't mean, but then I went to yoga and I meditated and then I sat there and finally had silence and was like, I'm not grumpy. My inner child, was unhappy with the audition this morning. You know, like we didn't win. Like I've always been like a winning child. Like I'm like, I want to win and I'm good and I'm going to do this thing. And it's like, you know, that's from like growing up. You just.
Well, yeah, growing up. I mean, think about it. Yes, there's a participation trophy, sure. Yeah. But isn't it great to win? You know, you don't.
I will win.
Yeah, exactly. You go, of course, I'm competitive. And I think it's, again, that reframing of what does it mean to win, right? The win is the audition. That's the win. Of all the people, the headshots that were submitted, they want to see you audition. Amazing. And if we could just remember that, it's just so hard because then you send the self-tape and you go, oh no, I have a better idea for this character or something like that. And it's the worst.
It's so hard, but it's just, I know, it's what's meant to be is meant to be, you know? There's some things that fall into place in my life and it always reminds me of like, it happened perfectly. And if this happened perfectly, what else is going to happen perfectly? It's just, things are falling into place and we have no idea why.
It is weird. I don't know if you've experienced this, but these past couple weeks have been super weird for me because I was like in such a dark place, like I'm done with acting vibes. That usually happens once a year, but so that was the time. And then I came back and like all these random opportunities were coming my way. I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but it just was such a roller coaster. And I'm like, what? And it's just, and that the whole like finding, okay, so now it's more of a slowing down again, but it's nice to know that if you do something like 4 years ago, someone might remember you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just important to know that like when you're doing the work, just try and be a good human that people want to work with. And they will remember you. Because I remember people that I'm like, oh, I work with this guy whenever on set or this person and they were great. And I always try and recommend people that I like working with. So I feel like we have to remember that too. Like, yes, even if you book the role, like you should also don't be a diva, you know, like you're not God's gift to earth. Let's just remember that like it's, you know, important to be grateful for everything. Yeah.
Be humble. Sit down.
Be humble. That's the word I wanted. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just gratitude is the number one thing. Just staying grounded, you know. That's
a good, exactly.
Something and be like, yeah, I'm it now. And I'm like, yeah, this could be your last job for like 6 years, man. You know?
Well, I was joking with someone, right? I ran into someone and it's like, okay, we did this one thing. We're like, okay, cool. So I guess 2024 we'll book again, right? We got our one a year. Okay, cool.
I mean, no, we're
amazing.
We're manifesting more than that. We're always in the abundance mindset and more is coming our way. But I said this the other day, anything can change at any time. The universe will just be like, you know what? I'm just going to take this away for a second, see what happens to you and see how you react. Are you going to go wallow? Or are you going to be like, ooh, okay, little break to work on myself, little break to grow, little break to nurture, little maybe to give back. I feel like a lot of the time, one of the biggest thing I've learned is giving back is the you know, like preserving the self and self-care is amazing. But when you get past that and have energy for other people, it's like the most rewarding gift ever to help other people grow and to help other people prosper. You know, like if you're feeling down, go help at a food bank. That'll give you enough perspective you need. You know, like go volunteer somewhere, go help somewhere because it'll open up your eyes to see that you're okay. You're doing fine.
It's yeah, it really puts things into perspective for sure.
Yeah, you just be like, oh my god, I didn't get that role. Be like, okay, well there are people who don't have food.
Yeah.
So be grateful. Be grateful for everything. Be grateful for your health, for your home, your family, everything around you. Because I would always say, if you were grateful every single night, and then in that evening, you know, you write it down in a little book, but you wake up in the morning and all those things are gone. Like, how do you feel? How would you feel if the things that you were grateful for the night before were just gone? I mean, like, I do it all the time now. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Thank you. Good morning. I have my family. I have my house. I have health. I can always, like, you know, my working limbs and I can choose to have any opportunity now. If I didn't have any of those things, it really would alter my life. And I just like, it helps. It's kind of dark, but it does help ground me a bit sometimes.
No, I got chills when you said that. I'm like, oh God, ooh, because I was thinking of what I was grateful for, and then you said take it away, and I go, oh God, oh, ooh.
So that's why gratitude is so important. It really opens up. This is all a little woo-woo, but it opens up the heart space, right? To be like sitting there and feeling already a high vibration frequency, and gratitude is a high vibration. To sit there and just feel so much love for something that's already there, you know, and the universe will be like, that's amazing that you're appreciating that. It's like a parent, you know, you give a child something and they're like, thank you so much. This is so sweet. You look at that child and you're like, oh my gosh, thank you for like appreciating that. If you give a child everything and they're like, F this, I want more. You're like, okay, time out, go sit. You're clearly not with it and you've lost it. So take a seat and think about what, you know, they would tell us, go to your room and think about it. So I always just sit myself down sometimes and think about it.
But I mean, now I'm just thinking about, you know, the generation of children of entitlement. So that's a whole other conversation. That's.
Lord have mercy for this. I try not to think about it. I just think, because there's, oh my God, I kind of like ran myself into the ground during the pandemic because I was so worried for everybody. You know, there's like Ukraine, there's indigenous communities, there's like water issues, food issues, and Black Lives Matter, you know, trans rights, all of that. And I was like, how do I advocate for all these people? And I was running myself crazy, you know, just running around, like giving so much energy. But in the end, we can't fix all those problems. It's a little domino effect. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, I am the only thing I'm in control of. I am the vessel here is what I got. So every interaction is a little domino, and hopefully that domino creates a good little ripple, you know? And that's all we can do. But I always tell people, you know, they get caught up in the world. There's so much, and there's a lot of collective consciousness, again, esoteric, things that we can collectively agree upon and be afraid about, like scared about. And when we do hone in on that collective consciousness and all start agreeing on the same thing, the world economy is going to crash, blah, 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 blah. We're going to run out of food. Food prices are very high. How am I going to pay for my family? When we start coming in at from a fear-based place, that just gets heightened collectively. So whenever people start talking about that, yes, that is a true reality. Mm-hmm. Am I living in limbo and pretending it's not real? No. But am I focusing on my path and how I'm going to keep going and bringing the best of the world and not honing into that energy? Because fear is a draining energy. So I try my best to stay away from that, and not being like toxic positivity or whatever. If you're going through something, it's valid, 100%. But also being like, okay, how can I change the frequency in this moment? So I don't know. I just always urge people to be careful.
Well, it's so hard, right? Because you want to help people and be an ally and be supportive. But yeah, there is something to be said. If I'm completely drained and devoid of my energy, I can't help anyone.
No.
Yeah.
You can only give what you have. If I got a basket of oranges and I can give you oranges, but if my basket's empty, I'm not giving you anything.
But what I do think is really, well, what the pandemic definitely brought out in me, at least, is just like the importance of educating yourself. There's no excuse to not know what's going on and not be aware, right? And I think there was a bunch of things I was watching, and it's like it's a little exhausting for someone to have to explain their cause to you. You know,
Yes.
that's like, you know, someone comes to me, they're like, explain Judaism. I'm like, I don't, what? You know, like, explain anti-Semitism. I'm like, I don't know what you want from me. So it's like that kind of stuff. I get that you want to learn, but also there's technology. Learn. Like, how do you actually want to learn, or are you just trying to pretend to be an ally? It's very weird, right? Because no one really knows the best way to approach it. But I do think it's really important to educate yourself on like what other people are going through, because you can't really empathize unless you truly understand.
Yeah. Oh, I fully agree. You know, I read about the things, and I used to post everything that I was reading, right? I'd be like, oh, look at this, look at this. And now I just go, that might be spreading, you know, a little bit more fear. The people who are going to want to read about it are going to want to read about it. And no one's going to go, you know, for a while I was spreading it a lot. But now I just like read about it so that when I'm in a conversation, I'm able to support those people and have information and valid points for those communities. And, you know, there are certain things that I do post, but now I'm very selective about it. But like you said, it's incredibly important that individually we are all informed about other people's experiences. And also as an artist, to link it back to artistry, it's part of our job to be empathetic and understand different communities. So why not?
You know what the most interesting exercise as an artist I find is when you learn about the issues and you clearly choose one side, and then I like to wonder what the other side is thinking. And if I had to play that kind of role, what would my mindset be? How do I justify taking the opposite stance? And that just, whew, my mind blows up every time I do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I know.
That is incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, to say, let's say you're on the other side. That's wild to me. And you would have to play a character like that one day. You know, you can't judge a character, and you have to understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, I'm a very believable Karen, so I have to. I've learned that from some of the comedy I shared. So that was, I'm like, I gotta understand them a bit better. Okay, all right.
Amazing.
Where's the human there? Cool.
Right?
Pardon?
You do stand up, right?
I dabble. I dabble in a lot of things.
You do. It's incredible.
Oh, you're very, very sweet. Thank you. I mean, to me, it's kind of fun. You know, you never know where the day's going to bring. But I think when someone goes, define yourself, who are you? I go, oh God, I don't know. Here's a 2-page bio. Take what you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I hate asking my guests for bios, because I know how much I hate writing a bio. And I don't know, look me up, make an opinion. I don't care. Right?
That's so great.
Yeah. You know what I love, actually, when I was doing my Google search of you and your fabulous pictures everywhere, I didn't realize you have this whole Counterbalance collective, and you just directed films, you wrote films. I have some questions about one that you wrote, and I'm like, oh, what is her brain? Okay, what is this pineapple one? Let's discuss. But I'm like, oh, okay.
Like, I have a question about that. I was like, I co-wrote that. I co-wrote it. It was pitched by everybody, but whatever.
But I love that. And it's so funny because I always think I know, you know, the gist of people. I go, oh, look at what you found a group and you guys are just creating stuff. And I'm looking at your IMDb. I go, whoa, yes, amazing. This whole group of people, and you're either in it or behind the scenes. And I love actors that go behind the scenes. I learned so much from being behind the scenes. It's a completely different perspective. Yeah. And I just love that you're doing. I was just curious as to how that came about.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it started when we were, you know, Raw Studios. A lot of us were, and Victoria Kuchar actually brought us all together because she's a local Toronto comedian, actor, producer. She does it all. She's incredible. And so we all came together, and we all just wanted to do more, you know, make it, you want a seat at the table, so we couldn't get a seat, so we built our own kind of thing. Blah, blah, blah. And yeah,
Don't downplay that, right? That's
but I'm
make
just like
your own table. Yeah.
3 times, and people watching are probably like, she has so many quotes. Oh my god. But I live by quotes. I think I should have a shirt that says I live by quotes, and this is the quote.
I think you should sell a book with your quotes. I would buy it.
Okay.
And I would want a book signed with a quote.
They're not my quotes. They're like probably Jim Rohn or Deepak Chopra or like Joe Dispenza. They're other people's quotes.
And then, you quote other people, but I want it with like your vibe. Yeah. Like a different picture of you, like doing something cute or like living your truth next to the quote. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that. But yeah, so we all came together, back to the topic, and we all wanted to do things that we wouldn't be allowed to do in real life, like directing. I mean, I will direct one day officially, but nobody's giving an actor who's never done anything just hopping onto a commercial and directing it. So it was really cool because it was a safe space for us to work in positions we'd never worked before. And there was no judgment. Like, there was a lot of messes, but everybody learned what they wanted to do, what they didn't want to do, what they want to continue doing. And that was like the purpose of the collective. And now we're 3 years old now, I think, or 4. We're 3 or 4. Ooh, I should know. And we just shot what is going to be a pitch for a series. But we made it into a short film, and it's going to be pitched to festivals. It's called Queen of Hearts, and super excited for that. So can't really say any more about it. But yeah, we're still creating, and it's one of those things of you just have to do the thing. And I'm so grateful to be part of it and to be one of the founding members, because it was, I couldn't have done it by myself, and we all couldn't have done it on our own. And it was really just got to keep going. And there are so many people behind closed doors was our first thing that just kind of keep it going. And it's a team effort. So it's the best. Yeah.
It was and it's so funny because I was watching it and then reading the names of people behind the scenes. And I just love that everyone was there for each other, right? Even if they weren't in it, they were just there. There'll be a PA, whatever. They're just there to support. And that's what it is, right? And when I talk to people that are just starting out, there is such a beautiful community and I know people that are moving to Toronto. I'm like, here, connect with these people, connect with these people. These guys are doing cool stuff. Like just find that group and just do stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Because I don't know, I find it's so inspiring when I see people that connect and create, and I love it.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing, to have a community, to have like, there's a question.
There is. I was just it's Alex Blackburn. Hello, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Oh, okay. How do you find focus on your work when there's the potential to spread yourself too thin?
Gosh.
Ooh. In your work, yeah. Oh,
focus in your work.
I don't have a successful answer to that. I spread myself too thin, and then I spend a month recovering. So you're better at this stuff than I am.
I would say boundaries.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And yeah, in that, it's knowing what to say no to. Because a lot of the time we'll say yes to things that maybe don't serve us anymore. For a while I was doing a lot of behind the scenes things. I started as an assistant director. I went to film school. I worked as an assistant director at the CFC, so Canadian Film Center. I've done a lot of stuff like that. And for a while I was spreading myself thin. And part of spreading yourself too thin, there is time to do everything. It's saying no to the things that you no longer need to do. And we're doing these things because at the core, we think we need to do more to make up for the fact that we aren't enough. So that's my answer, Alexander. Finding the things that you're good to say no to because you might not need that. And also scheduling, discipline. You can't spread yourself too thin. It's all about discipline. It's all about setting boundaries, saying no, knowing that you're enough, and really focusing in on what that goal is. I think, yeah, I don't know.
I think that was great though. It's so hard. I think starting out, it's so hard. Like starting out, I would never say no.
Yeah.
I would say yes to everything because you never know what would lead to something else. And because I've seen now, I'm like, I'm glad I didn't say no to anything, because I go, oh, that paid off. That being said, there's a lot of things that don't pay off. And I like that you can pick and choose and be able to set your boundaries, but I think starting out, I don't know what I would tell someone, because you never know what can come with something. And that's the biggest challenge for someone starting out. I don't know what I would tell them.
Yeah. Starting out is really hard because you do want to hop on everything and you don't even have a gauge of what's good or what's bad or what, now I know if a team asks me to work with them, I look at their content and I see where they're going. And it doesn't mean that it's bad, but you just get to a certain level where you're like, I kind of want to work with people who are already submitting things to festivals. But I've worked with student films before. I used to work with student films, but I only work with student films now if they show me content and like things that they've made. Otherwise, it's kind of like dicey. It's, you flip the coin. It could be like a mess or it could be a great, great, great story. I don't know.
What I say to the best student film I worked on was a thesis project, and then they created their own company afterwards, and then they're like, I remember you from my student film, and then you meet other people. So that I would always look for a thesis student film.
Yeah,
their final product, like they figured out their stuff, and you go, oh yeah, okay, let's see what you got.
Thesis projects are the best because
Yeah.
they're already at the top of the game or they're already working in the industry, and you're like, this looks good.
Yeah. I know. Someone was asking me about student films. I go, these students nowadays are fabulous.
Incredible.
Oh my God. They're the visionaries. I go, and maybe it's because they grew up with phones. I don't know. But I like my little camcorder back in the day of trying to make a film, as a kid, you go, they just had technology out of the womb. Like your mom's like, here's a phone. I don't know how it works. Okay.
Or I think there's just so much more available to make.
True. Okay.
They can YouTube, or they're just such go-getters. I mean, so am I, so are you, but there's about these new film school kids that they're just on fire. I don't know. They're great. I'm excited.
Yeah, I know. It's like the future generation of filmmakers. You go, oh, okay.
I mean, I remember going to film school, and there were some people in my program who are incredible right now, and I'm just in the industry. I'm like, I can't wait to work with you, and you. It's just, they're so good. Yeah.
Could you spot them, in your class, and you go, oh, this person, okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people surprise me,
Yeah. I mean, you should always be surprised by someone, but also you shouldn't be surprised. I feel like when you're surprised, you make an assumption about someone, You know
what? It might be based off, I think the assumption is usually based off if someone's just not putting effort or doesn't seem like they want to be there.
Yeah.
But then I always think like, okay, you know what? Maybe they're going through some stuff.
Oh.
Especially nowadays. I'm like, because you wouldn't just sign up for something and pay the money and not want to be there, right? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. No.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know these days. I just assume someone's always going through something. Yeah. It's the nicest to operate in this world.
I mean, we usually are, right? It's
I think
life.
Forget that.
It is easy to forget. Yeah, it is easy to forget. And I always joke, I'm like, because I need constant, I'm like, if I send you a message and you don't respond right away, are you dead? I'm like, when I get a message and I'm busy, I go, I'll deal with it in a week. It's just so funny when I put expectations on people versus me not be, I see it from the other side now. I go, oh, I get it. Okay, yes, I am on my phone, but like I definitely cannot answer this. That this is tabled, and then I forget, and I go, oh, I get why someone did that to me. We're cool. Yeah. We're cool.
I always do the same thing. I go, oh, they haven't replied yet. I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you don't reply to messages. So, which I'm working on. Yesterday I started and I created a Google Calendar because I've decided that I'm going to start treating everybody, not everybody, but sort of like a CEO and trying to respect people's time and my time. So I created a calendar as like friends, because one of my friends, as a joke, we were going to hang out and it kept getting moved around. And I said, you know what, send me a Google Calendar thing as a joke. They sent it and I loved it. And it was incredible. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to adapt this. And now I just told my friends, sorry, my nose is running. I told my friends, guys, this is the calendar. This is what's up. Put your stuff in there. And I think that's just what's going to be my problem solver. Also, you're welcome. I like Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
I love the UK. I'm obsessed with the UK. I used to go to the UK all the time.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Just to visit?
So, fun fact. Oh. Everyone's good. I used to be a flight attendant. Yeah. Yes, I used to fly for Air Canada, so I would pour your Coca-Cola.
Do you
But
speak
oui, je
French?
parle français, bien sûr. Mm-hmm. C'est ça.
What?
I speak French and Spanish. I mean, I think you speak Spanish,
I mean,
but
I figured Spanish. But
yeah.
that was an assumption. I don't want to assume just because of your last name. That's not fair.
But
Okay.
Generation Canadian could have been ripped from my culture, which I was. But
Oh, the fact that I'm like, oh, you're so bookable. Okay.
that's so sweet. No, I mean, my French grammar and my pronunciation is not that great anymore because I never practice. But yeah, why did I say I was a flight? Oh yeah, I used to be a flight attendant. So I was in London, England, like every weekend for like a year.
Oh,
I
wow.
was just chilling. Yeah, I would just fly every weekend to England and be like, let's go get some food, fish and chips at the bar. It was great.
Do you not have a greater appreciation for prices in Canada after you go to the UK and you go, whoa?
Yes. Are
Yeah.
you kidding? We are so blessed. Just stay. I'm just gonna stay here. I'm never leaving. No, I'm leaving. I'm gonna have a house in Mexico. Yeah, I've decided that. I love Canada. We are so grateful for the opportunities, but you know, when you're, I don't know your heritage or your background very well. But
That's okay. I don't really share with people.
right, that's okay. But yeah, like there's a part of me that is I'm Mexican El Salvadorian, and I'm just obsessed with Mexico. It's part of me, and whenever I go, I just feel so at home, and I'm like, that's where I want to be when I'm an elderly person. That's where I want to be. Yeah.
I feel like certain people, like, I actually don't see you aging. I think you're just going to be this spirit, okay, fine. Maybe you'll see it a little bit physically as, we age. But I think there's going to be such a youthful spirit in you that you're going to Benjamin Button kind of. And
That
not to a point of being a baby at 80, but, something along those lines.
I'd be kind of sick. Be like, gaga, go, go.
It's and you'll say it's a different language. It's their fault for not understanding.
Yeah,
I'm fluent in baby, so
yeah. I hope I'm like that. That's the goal, to just continuously harvest that youthful, fun, playful energy, and not fall into the whole like as you age, your life crumbles. You know?
well, I think we're getting better at as you age. We're realizing because I don't know. As a woman, I'm like, oh shit. Once I hit 30, am I dead? Like, am I valued on screen? Am I the grandmother? Maybe. But it's very interesting to see film. I love the comparison of the women in Sex and the City to the Golden Girls, that they're the same age. And you see how, yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah,
had no.
so they're fabulous doing their thing versus the Golden Girls that were retired and sitting around the table. I actually never watched the Golden Girls, so I can't tell you what the show was. I just know
But I know the of them.
the vibe of they're
Yeah.
just, different.
But yeah, I think you actually bring up a really good point about women. That's my like another one of my things I'm championing as I enter into this world. Just making sure that women are appreciated in all ages, and not just women, men, everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, but obviously there's a higher demand for men in their 70s or 80s versus a woman, right? So just championing that in young girls, girls who are younger than me, and myself and my friends, not nurturing the narrative that, oh, we're old. And like I hear people in like their 30s and they're like 32 and they're like, oh my god, I'm like falling apart. I'm like, guys, you're 32. Like, it's not old. You need to just go work out, be mindful, take care of your body, and not stop saying. And the more you say I'm old, your body goes, oh, we're old. Okay, everything hurts. Okay, that's it. We're in it. We're gonna be in pain. We're gonna walk, and we're just gonna start being old, and that's just what happens. And luckily, I have a mother who does not nurture that narrative. So
It makes a difference, right? Who you surround yourself with. But it's so funny though, because I think like in my 20s, it's not funny. Like in my 20s, I had this horrible injury that I couldn't diagnose, so I was in chronic pain.
Yeah.
And now I'm in my 30s, and I'm like, I feel fabulous because I'm not in chronic pain anymore. So
Yeah.
it makes a difference. Oh, Erica, I got some class. Okay.
I'm laughing not at that statement. My friend posted something in the chat, and it made me laugh. So
Oh, I thought there was an inside joke, so I didn't know what to say to that. Okay.
yeah. So it is an inside joke, but yes, chronic pain is real, and I'm sorry you were in chronic pain. So
Oh no, it's fine. I overshare. Yeah, it's so I selectively overshare.
me too.
But that's like me. I'll be like, I'm a physio and I can fix you. I fixed myself. But that's also a whole other life of pelvic floor physiotherapy, right? And that's just like a whole other side conversation of my life journey.
You and you're such a great interviewer slash chatty human that I went into this conversation. I was like, Dianne, when she asks you a question, try to try to stay the course, you know, because I could talk for hours with you and just go, oh, and this and this and this, but we're not going to do that.
No, we have 5 minutes left. Oh, if at anything, we can end it. It's been an hour almost.
Yeah, that's great. But yeah, oh, everybody. Oh, my friends are here. Pura vida. Hey, arriba. Just being a little Mexican there.
I was going to say, I thought it was Polish, but no.
It was Polish. You're right.
It was, oh, yes, of course. German. It was very German.
I had brain surgery last week. They did some weird stuff. It was weird.
It happens. You know, you mix the frontal lobe with the temporal, and that's what you're going to get.
Oh. Oh my God, my dresser. We're losing it now. It's 5 minutes. No one's there anymore. We
did great. Yeah, no one's watching. It's fine. It's cool. We're not live. That's
right now. We have to talk about very important things. We're like, this is the time.
You know, like it's so funny. Like I really appreciate you being a guest because I love your mindset and how you approach life. But like even with it, there's no goal. Like I just want people to get to know everyone better, and I feel like it's just a casual way to be, hey, let's see what comes up in conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, Alexander. Oh my God. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, look at these people definitely watching. Oh, thanks for the positive energy comment. Look at these guys. Okay.
You're elevating the consciousness right now with doing this.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's so funny too because I'm like, am I gonna bring these back? Does anyone still want to talk to me? And I'm like, I guess they do. Yeah.
They do. They want to talk to you, and what you're doing is so important. And I'm just happy you stayed the course. You know.
You know what? I think I just kind of I'm like the goal is to just talk with people. There, like every other potential collaboration and partnership that I was pitched that kind of didn't work out. I'm like, that's okay. But also like this doesn't have to be more than it is, you know, we're just talking and then you share it. And yeah, exactly. People love hearing dope conversations like the one I had with Ryan Rosary. Shout out to the previous guest. Right. Ryan's a cool guy. Everyone, honestly, I love all my guests. I really do. And I love that you're just so willing to be like, let's see where the conversation goes. Yeah. But I think like the biggest, and I'm trying to do takeaways and not putting my guests on the spot anymore because that's cruel. Like, what is your final thought? But like the general gist of what we spoke about is, you know, just like, again, that the mindset is so important. And I really like the notion of giving back when you're kind of in a lull in your career, especially as an artist, just like reaching out and helping others. I think that's such a great way to use that downtime that we're like, instead of wallowing in your self-pity, like, let's just give back a little. And then it's odd because when you give back, you actually get so much more. So it is oddly selfish in a way, but there's something there, right?
Yeah, I mean, they'll say that any action you make is rooted in selfishness, and if it is, everybody wins.
Yeah, I go, that's okay if it's a little selfish. Everyone's still benefiting, so we're cool.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for having me, and thanks for doing this and letting people speak their truth and just being so supportive. And yeah, I think I'm just grateful to be here. And these conversations remind me, you know, when we speak out who we are, it reminds us and it kind of guides us. You know, you speak things out into existence. And I feel like we did a lot of really good speaking out today, both you and I, to kind of guide us into our paths more, you know?
I feel like I just got like a self-help hour from you, and I love it. I've gotten quotes. I've gotten chills. There's so much. Ooh, thank you for your positive energy. Thank you to everyone for watching, for the comments. They were so lovely today. And yeah, I will be looking out for Queen of Hearts. Is that?
Yeah, Queen of Hearts. Follow me on Instagram because I'm working on a course for actors.
Oh, I see that for you. Okay.
Yeah, just part of giving back. What it is yet, but something out there. But just there's a lot of stuff coming up, and I don't know what it is. I'm gonna work on it with my life coach, who is in the chat right now. Hi, David. Yeah, that's my life coach. He's great.
That's so cool. Okay. Promote the life coach. All right. I see what you did, Coach Dave Lee. I see you. Okay.
He's amazing. One of the darkest times in my life. Found him. He helped me. He coached me, guided me. Lovely man. Yeah.
I like that he gets the final shout out too. Like just made it in the nick of time. Like, oh, join the live right before it ends. Promotion.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, Dianne, thank you so much for coming. Thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you to future viewers for watching. And bye.
Bye. I'll give you a hug.
Oh, I like that. I've never really fake hugged someone. I don't know how to go in there. Yeah, you're a hugger. This is good. I like this virtual hugging. Okay.
Ready?
Oh.
1, 2. Good job, Robyn. Good job.
I love that.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.